welcome back to Elful Deco. It's been a while, but I've been busy with my holiday collection. I've been making lots of ornaments, but I haven't forgotten about you. So today we are going to be making ornaments. And today we're making ocean ornaments. And here's what they look like. Ocean ornaments with the little sea creatures. And I have these and these. I think we're making these light blue ones for the video today, but the process is the same for all of them. And the waves came out really pretty, so that's why I thought I had to film it for you. So I'll show you exactly how I made these ornaments, how we string them, and then we'll see how they look on the Christmas tree. Let's get started. Here are the ornament molds that we are using for this project. For the resin, we're using Total Bolt's high performance resin. We're going to fill the molds up in this first layer with blues and clears. For the blues, we are using turquoise blue and tropical blue from Mayspring. First, we'll split up the mixed resin into threes for the two blue colors and one clear. We're going to create the ocean base for the ornaments in the molds, then we'll do the waves on top after. I made these molds myself, but there are lots of different ornament molds available out there. All other materials used to create these ornaments will be listed in the description. Once the pigments are fully mixed into the resin, we need to clean the molds before pouring. I generally use blue tape for this step, but I just ran out, so I'm using packaging tape in this video. They both work fine. Now we're ready to pour. We'll create an ombre with these two blues and the clear. We're going to pour the tropical blue on the top, the turquoise blue in the middle, and the clear on the bottom. For the bottom clear part, you can also mix in some sand with it so it's more like the beach, or add in some shells. I just want to leave it clear for this ocean ornament. Total Bolt's high performance resin is on the thinner side, so I poured each ornament individually to make sure I had space for all three colors. If I did like all the tropical blues first, by the time I get to the last ornament, the first one I poured will probably have moved towards the bottom of the mold. That would be too much tropical blue for my liking, since you can see that I'm doing about half clear. Of course, you can pour this any way you want to create the ocean, that's your style. So right now in the video, you can see me adding more resin to fill the molds. I initially did not pour to fill the molds, but more of just how I wanted to split my colors. The colors don't shift too much from the initial pour. This also ensures that I do not over pour and have resin spilling over the edges of the mold. They're a pain to clean up. After we're done pouring, use a popsicle stick to blend the colors a little bit, and once we're done, we'll let these fully cure overnight. Now we're back to demold them. Here's what they look like, and we have the ombre blues for the ocean, and we're going to do 2 layers of waves on top. They all pretty much look the same, so I'll just demold one more just to see. Before pouring the waves, we have to protect the back of these ornaments with Elmer's glue to prevent resin drips from curing to the bottom. Doing the waves on top is kind of like doming the piece, and we will definitely get drips on the back since we're going to use a heat gun to push the white pigments. You'll see what I mean when we do the waves. But this is how I apply the Elmer's glue. I drop some glue onto the back of this piece, and I use a silicone brush to spread it out. The glue does not stick to the brush and will peel off once it's dried, so you can reuse the silicone brush as many times as you need. Once you cover the piece with glue, you just let it sit and dry. It does take a long time to dry, normally about 18 to 24 hours, but I recently discovered a way to speed up the drying time. A fan. I have a fan running on low, blowing directly at the glued pieces, and it speeds up the drying time so much. The glue dries in about 3 to 4 hours instead. Maybe you already know this, but for those of you that don't, maybe you can try this out. An alternative to glue is liquid latex, but I stopped using it because the cost was significantly higher and it left weird textures on my pieces sometimes, and I was not a fan of it. It works though, so if you want to try out both methods, I think it's always useful to see for yourself and find your own preferences. Now the glue on the back is fully dried and we're back in the resin room to do the first layer of waves. You know the glue is dried when it's like a frosted clear and not the opaque white that comes out of the bottle. We're going to set these ornaments on top of some cups so the resin drips will drip down the edge onto the table and not become a pool of resin under the piece itself. The white pigment that we're using for the waves is Casting Crafts Opaque White Pigment, and the resin that we're using is Total Tabletop Resin. It's a thicker resin compared to the high performance resin, which makes it perfect for top coating and creating the waves. A thin resin will run off the edge really quickly compared to a thicker one, and the waves will run off the surface. Trust me, the tabletop resin or a thicker resin will make your life easier for the waves. We're going to use a good bit of pigment to some clear resin, and I don't really count the drops per gram or ounce of resin, I just kind of eyeball it. If I had to say though, I probably put about 10 to 12 drops here for half an ounce of resin. Mix the pigments completely in with the clear and make sure there are no streaks or anything. Then we're going to coat the entire top of the ornament with clear resin. Do this as if you were top coating a piece. Start with some resin in the center, then spread out the resin to the edges. Add more resin afterwards if you feel like it's needed. That way not much resin is wasted being dripped over the edge. To create the waves, I randomly draw lines of white with a popsicle stick, like how I'm doing in the video. Random looks nice because it gives a more organic look. It's best to start a little below where you want your waves to start because we're going to blow the resin towards the top, so the white pigment will flow towards the top. I find it best to do several lines because it gives it a little more depth even though the waves are being done on the same layer. Now we are going to use the heat gun to spread the white pigment and create the waves. This is my heat gun on low setting and I place it at an angle to blow the resin up. You have to be patient with this because the waves will move kind of slow. Sorry, I tripped over the light switch here, so I had to fix that first. I wanted to show you all of the movements of the waves though, so I didn't cut this part out. After I'm done with making the waves with the heat gun, I just let the piece sit. I don't use a torch or anything. You can see here that there are some cells, but not too many. And so now here's a snippet of the waves moving on its own, bringing out more of the cells. This is sped up 8 times, I think. It's very noticeable on the bottom left one. Don't mind what I'm doing on the right of the screen, I'm just finishing up some more ornaments. Here is a close-up of the waves. Look at how pretty those cells are. I honestly still can't believe I made these. This is the white on light blues, so it's much more visible close up, and I was definitely a little bit more reserved on the white. Here are the ones that I made on the other side while the blue ones were resting. This is a darker blue one and it's much more obvious, and I used my white pigments for most of these. Again, this is without a torch and using the same process with the heat gun. It's about 12 hours later now and the resin has hardened. Here's what it looks like, not much different from the close-up. And the drips in the back that we will peel off when we're done. Before we pour the second layer, we're going to add some of these vinyl sea creatures to the ornaments to make each one unique. I got these vinyl sea creatures from another artist, but unfortunately they no longer sell them. You could probably search Etsy for these or maybe find a custom vinyl seller if needed. Be sure of where you're placing the vinyl because once you place it, it'll be hard to peel off. Now we will repeat the wave making process just like the previous layer. Using Totaboat's tabletop resin again, we will pour a layer of clear onto the ornament, draw our lines of white, and then use a heat gun to spread it out. I like to do 2 layers of waves because it adds a lot more depth to the piece compared to just one. Now I'm working on the other ornaments, but watch the snippet of the cells forming. This is about 8 times again. We'll let these sit for overnight and be back to finish them up. Look at all of those cells. I don't do too many ocean stuff because I never got cells like this, and I think I finally got it. Now I just kind of want to do all ocean stuff, but let's continue with this video first. We're going to remove the protective glue backing to clean up the drips on the back of these ornaments. I use a sharp tool, my Cricut weeder here, and I find a bubble in the glue that I can pick at to create an opening for me to peel the glue off. The drips will pop right off with the glue. That's because the drips are stuck to the glue and not to the bottom of the piece itself. If we did not have this layer of glue protection, we'd be sanding and polishing for days. So don't forget to protect the back of your pieces when top coating. Let's finish the rest of these ornaments. Here is the close-up of the ornaments we made. They're so beautiful. The cells look so amazing, and I am still shocked that I made these because I was terrible at waves for years. If you looked at my previous ocean video, the cells are not this good. There's definitely more ocean pieces coming soon. Now I just want to show you the other set of ocean ornaments that I made off camera, these dark blue ones, and I want to show you how they compare with the lighter blue ones. Let me know which ones you like more in the comments. The last step to making these into ornaments is stringing them. I will show you how I string them with these ribbons, and then we'll see how they look on the tree. For these ribbons, I got them off Amazon. I like to use white for these ocean ornaments, but I ran out, so here's gold. I first fold the piece of ribbon in half to get the length that I want the ornament to drop at, and cut the ribbon from there. Then I string it through the hole and knot it as I do in the video. Now let's put these ornaments on the tree and see how they look. The blue actually stands out a lot on the tree, and you can see the little sea creature. It's so cute. Now I know it's a little bit late to get ornaments for this year, but if you wanted to get for next year, I only have a few left in my shop, or keep me in mind for next year. Let me know what you think about these ornaments in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed making these ocean ornaments with me, and I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season. If you enjoyed this process video, please like and subscribe, and if you have any questions or feedback, leave it in the comments below. I'll see you next time.